Thank you.
So we're back here in Timonium, Maryland for the Maryland Toy Expo. Always a good show. This is a big one. This is the biggest one in Maryland. So if you happen to be in the area, this is definitely the one to go to in Maryland.
Yeah, this show's really cool, and there's always a really cool variety. There's 2 giant buildings with a lot of really cool vendors in them.
Yeah, and right here, right off the bat, first stand in the door, some awesome classic 60s maniacs. Had these been carded, these would have come home with me, because the only one I have of these is the Mummy. So I need the other ones, but gotta hold out for them carded. There's something about the packaging that just speaks to me. But great to see them. You don't normally see those.
No, you don't.
There's a little Dracula coin in here that I was looking at. Pretty cool. That's the thing, too. A lot of times with cases, it's like you got to look and, you know, like I'm doing here. You
Wait,
see
is that a
different
Pog
things.
Slammer Dracula?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what that was. You see some Dracula glow fangs and some cool puzzles. And this is only the first stand, so it's a
good start.
It's a good start. When you see classic monsters right off the bat, you know you're in the right place.
There's always a real good assortment of classic monsters at this show.
Yeah. And, you know, if you get there early, you might be able to get something before Dan Roebuck gets it.
But, of course, your dad was there, as always.
That's it. There he is.
And Dan was actually at this show, too.
Yeah, we love Dan. I'm just
we bust his stones, but Dan's a really good guy, and we love seeing him, and we like seeing a fellow monster kid get some cool stuff, of course.
Yeah. I'd just rather get it first.
But we want it too.
There was some classic toys there. So I was making my way around here just trying to see, you know, take it all in at first because there is a lot of stands here. And the stands are all jam-packed. You'll see,
and trying to film while they're so packed.
Yeah, you'll see a few stands where it was like they were so jam-packed you had to look underneath tables and behind tables and underneath boxes, and it was like you do have to take your time in here. The stands are really packed out. Like a lot of times you'll go to toy shows and you know you won't see it like this. This show, like every table is like packed out with stuff.
Yeah, you really got to pay attention. It would take nothing to overlook something because there's so many things at all of these stands.
Like this, the cool Outer Spacemen, Space Warriors Colorform set. I hadn't seen that before.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Great box art on that.
Definitely. Always good to see Creature and Wolfman.
Yeah. Lots of cool stuff.
So much to look at here.
There was. This guy's pretty cool. I've run into him in a few shows now.
That's a cool book.
He did the Hall of Omens Thundercats book, which I highly recommend if you're a Thundercats fan. That book is like essential.
Yes.
It's a great guide to the Thundercats, and half of the stuff is stuff you'll probably never own. So at least you get a picture of it.
It's one good way to see it.
Some super rare stuff in there. And in the back right there, you just saw a rare Chitara costume, which is the toughest of the Thundercats costumes to find.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, for some reason, little girls, I guess, didn't want to be Chitara.
I would have.
Yeah, I mean,
but
you weren't alive, so there's
wasn't alive to do that, so that kind of poses an issue.
So there's an issue.
Plus, my mom was a big fan of We Have It at Home costumes, and that just was not fun.
You just saw a Child World tag that I zoomed in on.
Yes.
I love anytime you see old Child World tags. And there's some killer toys at the stand. Constrictor, that's like one of the rare 3. Constrictor, Electro, and Iceman. Those Secret Wars that were only available overseas are super tough to find in the line. That was a carded one.
Dang.
Lots of cool stuff at this stand. High-end toys.
For sure.
Yeah.
You better bring your wallet and your credit card.
Yeah.
And a human sacrifice. But you're going to walk away with some cool toys.
Yeah. That was actually
That's not a bad price for that, honestly.
It's a reproduction.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah. The figures were real, but the early bird set was a reproduction. And right there, you see somebody that was making a deal for Thundercats Bengali. And that was $1,500. Yeah.
Yeah, people bring money to the show.
Yeah, it's expensive. Pricey
but you
stuff.
Gotta pay to play. Got some classic Sokies here. A little high on the prices.
A little bit, yeah. $250 is way high for those.
But always cool to see them nonetheless.
I love seeing them.
Those are always cute. I love the sprites.
There's a mask lunchbox that was being sold.
Nice. And always the princess
Yeah,
Beanie Baby.
that Princess Bear was $200. That's why I had to film it for a
Oh
second.
boy.
I was like, wow.
I know that
Okay.
like people think that certain pellets are more rare, and there was a time when that was the
Yeah,
case.
that time is not now though.
No, it's 2024, and people can't afford groceries. They're not spending $200 on a princess bear when you can literally get a princess bear for $1.
Yeah, it's
But I commend the enthusiasm
See,
and the
like
hope.
this is what I was talking about tables being packed out. I mean, look at that. Look at that table you just saw right there. I mean, that table was packed
Yeah, like a
out.
million things.
There's a ton of stuff, and a lot of times there'll be like things in bags, so it's like super
Yeah,
reflective. Like you can't really tell what's even in the bags.
disorienting.
And
That's cool to see him set up like a little shop there.
yeah,
Some great
yeah,
little modern
finally.
pickups.
Yeah, that series seems to be around now. You can find those, but
Yeah,
the series one, forget it. It's gone.
yeah. Series 1, and they kept bringing it back out, but I mean, so many people wanted it, and now it's
Well,
gone.
a couple of series one is going to be in the next wave, but in a glow in the dark form. There's glow in the dark
That's
creature
right, yeah.
and glow in the dark Frankenstein.
And we're going to be buying those, of course.
So
Because they glow in the dark now, so we need them too.
yeah, and it'll probably be like a girl too. Like the first ones were boys.
The glow creature is a glow in the dark girl.
Okay, so
I'm like, dang, now I need that.
and I love girls that glow in the dark, so that's essential. But see what I mean? Packed out tables.
Yeah.
Just packed out.
Like
So there's
you could really spend all day just looking at probably just a handful of tables.
yeah, you got to take your time to look through stuff.
And there's Alf.
The chunky elf.
Chonky Alf.
It's a very chunky elf. He got lucky.
And this is cool. This was like where they like the dig bins.
Really? You're gonna let that one go? That was a good one.
What?
He got lucky. Get it? The cat lucky.
Oh.
Wow. No reaction.
I know. I'm sorry I let
No
you down there.
reaction.
That was a good joke.
That was good.
That was good. He got lucky.
I know.
As lucky's the cat on
See?
Alf. Yes.
See? Okay. That's fine.
I should know that.
Maybe the viewers will get it.
Yeah, the viewers will definitely get it.
I hope
that
so.
went way over my head.
I have faith in you guys. I hope you got it. Those I remembered from the Burger King Kids Club.
I remember.
And I thought that was cool. Yeah. I like seeing things like that. Some things, even, weird, goofy little, fast food things will just bring back, like, super nostalgic memories. And even though, like, I love seeing things like that Donald Duck game, that's something I've never seen before. And even though I love seeing things like I've never seen before, there's something so cool about just running into something that just hits you with, like, this wave of nostalgia. And you go, wow, like, I haven't thought about this since then. And I remember getting that from
I know that lightning bolt
Burger
just hits
King
you.
or whatever, yeah.
And you have that memory just comes rushing back. You remember playing with it, or you remember taking it out of the Happy Meal, or
Yeah,
whatever.
just anything like that is just like that's one of my favorite things about going to toy shows is just having that little wave of nostalgia. Now that I see that Count Chocula, I should have bought that thing.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't buy it.
Yeah, because you'll know why later on in this episode why I'm saying that. But now that I think about it, with what I bought in this episode, I could have put him inside of it and had him like popping out of it, and that would have been a really cool display.
That would have been. Now, was that a licensed one?
Yeah,
Dang.
that's from an amusement park. Like, I don't
That's
know if
really
it's-
cool.
Yeah,
I didn't really know that they had those.
yeah.
Of Count Chocula, anyway. I mean, obviously, I knew Carnival toys existed.
It's a rare Snorks display. There's a few rare things on this.
Yeah.
On this stand right here, that Snorks display was a. I like store displays. I love stuff like that.
Store displays are great because it's advertising, and advertising is such a big, igniter of nostalgia.
That's one of my favorite things. I love store displays. Anytime, like I would love to get. I have a piece of an Aurora, the Monster Models store, the hanging mobile.
Yeah, that's right.
I have a piece. I just have the Wolfman from the hanging Wolfman piece. But I would love to get the full Aurora model set. The store display for that would be amazing. There's some really cool ones.
Yeah.
This stand's got a lot of great stuff too. That robot was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
Lots of carded Star Wars, and Star Wars is still hot.
Yeah, because it's
timeless.
Yeah, but they keep coming out with new series, new movies to get all the new generations hooked on these. And
This right here is crazy.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff at this stand right here. As you can see, you're seeing Tomlands, the mini monsters.
you never.
Mini monsters with a major price tag.
Yes.
Check it out. This is the price on these guys.
Yeah.
2,500, 2,500, 2,000, 1,750.
Wow. 2,500, 2,500, 2,000, and 1,750.
Yep.
Yeah, so mini monsters with a major price tag. I don't know. That seemed absolutely crazy to me. I've seen the Wolfman a few times pop up online, and he doesn't sell for anywhere near that. So I don't know. Maybe those ones in particular are like super high. Let me know in the comments though if you know. Like, is that spot on for those, or is that absolutely insane? I don't know.
You gotta figure they are very rare, and the market's always fluctuating.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know I've never run into him at a show before. I've never seen that skeleton one ever. So I mean,
awesome.
it could be. I don't know, maybe, but it just seemed excessive. Really, really excessive.
But it's, I mean, we've
Not for me.
definitely bought things that may seem excessive in the eyes of some people. We definitely have.
Not normally on that level though.
Spent.
I've never spent $2,500 on a tiny little 2-inch thing.
I'd hope not.
No, it's got to be a few more inches for that. Anyway, so back to the
Star
so
Wars.
lots of cool stuff. Star Wars still hot.
Still hot.
Knight Rider not as hot as it should be, but I love the Hoff.
Still respect to the Hoff.
And always cool to see stuff like that.
Yeah.
Little rack toys, and I love rack toys.
Garfield. That's cool. Was that an Odie costume?
Yeah, lots of neat things.
That's awesome. I've never
Ghosts.
seen that game before.
Yeah, it's not super rare, but it's really cool. Great box art.
Yeah, that's it. That is great.
Laser tag.
Oh yeah, I remember like going to play laser tag. And Bobby Rydell, we absolutely love him. We
I
got to
do.
see him
Not-
perform live, and it was awesome.
Yeah. Don't know who Johnny Restivo is, but he looks great. He looks like somebody I'd love. This is like the era of artists that I love the most. So I'm gonna have to look into him. I'm not familiar with him, but I'll probably love his catalog of music.
Yep.
He looks cool, and he looks like someone you would have dated back in the day.
Yeah, if I was around back then, I would have been trying to talk to Mr. Johnny Restivo.
Now this is an interesting stand here because you just saw an original Lidsville box, an original Jetsons box. Unfortunately, it was in bad shape. I want one of these
But
badly.
those graphics are so cool.
Oh, it's beautiful. But
I love it.
that one's a little worse for wear for me. I want a nice one of those. But the Lost in Space box was in just as bad a shape as that Jetsons box, but was a reproduction from just a few years ago. Mm-hmm. It's really strange to me how it was in that bad a shape. It's like, what happened to this box? You know, like
Yeah.
you can understand, like, okay, the Jetsons one's been around, you know, since the 60s, but that
Yeah,
Lost in
that's been through
Space
some
wasn't.
things.
So
That's a cool. We actually have that one.
we do have that.
That is amazing.
Love that. Love the Saucer Man. One of my favorite movies ever.
There's not enough AIP stuff out there.
No, there really isn't.
Like there's not a lot, but the stuff that's out there is awesome.
Yeah, well, it's because
Some great
all the
sculpts.
AIP monsters are, you know, classics.
I know
I
people don't
love
talk
them.
about AIP monsters enough.
I spread the gospel of AIP at all times. I am the AIP preacher. That's what the P stands for.
Ah.
Andy is preacher. That's me.
There you
I am
go.
the AIP.
And what is this?
There it is. It's a drag deal. Can you figure out what it is?
It's our new house.
Yeah, it's now where I live. I live at 66860 Count Chocula Lane. That is my address. You can send me fan mail or hate mail or whatever you want to do, but I now
Please
live
send blankets.
I now live in that box because that box did come home with me. I needed one. What can I tell you? You know, it seemed like just as good a box as any.
I mean, if you're gonna do it in style.
That's right. If you're gonna buy a box, make sure it's a Count Chocula one.
But it was the first year that they were issued,
Or an
that they came
Italian.
out. There you go.
Yeah, no, that Count Chocula box was in fact the first year that 1971 when they first came out. It's got the date on it and the code from the grocery store and everything, and it's just an amazing piece. And I cannot imagine that very few of those are still left in existence. If
Yeah,
any others are out there, if anybody happens to know of one, I'd love to know of another one. But I was a pretty big monster cereal collector for a long time, and I've got a pretty sizable collection of boxes, and I never came across a first release shipping box for Count Chocula. I've seen some other ones for like later years, but never the 1971 from when they first came out. So that's was an amazing piece. I couldn't leave it, and the seller gave me a really good deal on it that I couldn't say no to, and it became a drag deal.
Yes.
Garlu.
I like those, those Super 7 Soaky inspired bubbles. They're actually bubbles that are in there. I think those are pretty cool.
That's a cool toy right there.
Is.
Green Goblin. That's there's not too many Green Goblin toys from back in the day. That's one of the few pieces that they made. Aside from the Migos, I think that's pretty much it for Green Goblin stuff, for early Green Goblin stuff.
Remember them things, the magic rods?
I do. That's why I filmed that. I was looking at that and I'm like, and I remembered this Spider-Man kit too. I can remember that Spider-Man kit being at a school library's yard sale.
Wow.
In the 90s. I remembered that.
That's cool.
And, to see it for like $200 or $500, whatever it was crazy. I love that.
That show's great.
I love my favorite Martian. That's a show my dad introduced me to. Right there was my favorite Martian.
You actually introduced me to that, and I loved a lot of old shows
That's
before
an
I met
obscure
you.
one.
But you played me a couple episodes of that, and I loved it.
Yeah, that's an obscure one. That one doesn't get talked about too much.
I don't know, and I love old TV. I love the Monsters, Andy Griffith. So it wasn't alien to me, but now it is.
Yep. And you love Dick Van Dyke, which is like a...
That was a great show.
That's a great show, too. And Outer Limits.
Yes.
You like the
Twilight
Outer Limits
Zone.
now. Twilight Zone. Yeah, you've watched a lot of Twilight Zone.
Love Twilight Zone.
Cool to see boxed Migos.
Mm.
A lot of cool stuff. This stand had some great monster magazines.
Oh, definitely.
And I know my buddy Dan Roebuck hit this stand early because I was told by one of the vendors. He came over to me and he's like, Dan Roebuck's already been through all of this. And I'm like, oh, jeez, there's not going to be anything here.
So you know it's all gone.
I'm like, but I'll take a look anyway, just in case.
Dan knows exactly what to look for, so.
Dan knows what he's looking for. He's an OG monster kid. But I figured, you know what? Maybe he missed something. He didn't, but it was like,
we're
just in case.
Just there to make sure that he didn't.
Yeah, these are great covers. These old Monster Worlds,
the classics.
I love those. That Santa Frankenstein is so
iconic.
Oh my God, that image is just. That's like the quintessential classic Christmas monster photo right there. It's just like that's it. It doesn't get any cooler than that. And this stand had a lot of great stuff, a lot of cool monster stuff. I love seeing the old cards. These are great. I just completed this set recently.
And then found a bag of ones that you already had.
And then found a box of cards that I had already had.
Yep.
I don't know. You forget after a while. You know, you get it. It's not a bad problem to have, but, you know, when you're rebuying stuff you already have, it's kind of...
It's a classic collector move where you end up buying stuff that
Seriously.
you already have because you have so much.
This was great to see all these different...
I love it.
These are the larger box ones, too. I don't know if you can tell on your screen,
beautiful.
but these are the bigger ones. And you don't normally see these. Usually you see the little guys, but these were the full-size ones.
That Revenge of the Creature one's cool.
I know.
Don't really see that too often.
You really don't. And there's some Palmers. Always good to see those. This guy had some really cool stuff. A lot of neat stuff. I have most of those, and the ones I'm missing, I don't remember which colors or whatever, so I'm like, I'm not even going to mess with that.
Collector's tip, make sure whenever you're collecting a series of things, write them down, take pictures, because
Cheat sheets.
This will really help.
Put it in your phone.
Yeah, exactly. Make a folder in your phone of all the stuff that you already have. This will save you some time and money.
You know, that would be the smart thing to do, and I can't
We're never going to do it.
No.
We're not going to do it. You have it for one series of cards that you're going through, and that's it. Another direct deal.
Yep. I made a direct deal because I needed those two. If you...
Or so you think.
Yeah.
Till
No,
you find them.
I'm good because I had only just started collecting them, and I only bought like the first 19 or 16 cards or whatever at Monster Bash. So
Which was the night before, so it was fresh in your mind.
Yeah, so I knew what I had as far as those go.
So as long as it's within 24 hours, you'll remember what you have.
Classic Aurora models here.
Herman
Munster. A lot of neat stuff.
Oh, yeah.
One thing for sure too is, when you're out collecting stuff, it's a good idea to, just have a good idea of what it is, not only that you're looking for, but check condition on things too.
Yeah, it's
A
easy
lot
to
of
get wrapped
times,
up.
yeah, you see things and you go, oh, and you grab it, and you don't realize. There's been times that I've picked up, like for example, Viewmaster packets, and one of the Viewmasters is missing, or just you don't check things the way you should. So it's always a good idea to
Yeah.
just double check something to make sure it's in the condition you want it to be in. Because this stuff ain't cheap, kids.
Yes.
Collecting toys these days is not a hobby for people that don't have a lot to spend. As you can see by a lot of the prices that you're seeing on things here, things have gone up pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Looking at a lot of these figures, I can remember a lot of this stuff was nowhere near these prices, and it's interesting now just to see. I see a lot of this stuff. I don't see a lot of people buying the higher end stuff, but maybe it just depends on the show. I'm sure there's plenty of higher end things that do sell, but
I mean, we set up sometimes to kind of purge our collection, and we'll bring some higher end items, we'll bring some lower end stuff, and the lower end stuff does seem to move more at certain shows.
yeah, I find that it is sort of the more affordable stuff. I mean, when I see figures, there was one figure here that was, I think it was like $18,000. It was graded and it had a thing, and I'm thinking like nobody's coming here with $18,000 for this, but you never know, I guess.
Yeah.
These were things I remembered from when I was a kid.
Yeah, those are cool rack toys.
Entertech, Zap It, that went with the Zap It gun. I remembered that little pink ball.
Wasn't that a street hockey ball, though?
Yeah.
And here he is, it's Dan.
There's Dan Roebuck.
He tosses a little wave here.
I know, and you know what's funny? He came up to me afterwards and he said, I waved at your camera, and I was looking to the left, and like a bozo, I didn't actually realize that he was there. So otherwise I would have stopped. I don't want to seem like this clip makes it seem like I was being rude and just kept walking.
No big deal.
No big deal. It's just Dan Roebuck. But that was not the case.
Dan's a cool friend of ours. We love him, and we always love stopping to talk monsters.
The thing with this show too is Amy was sick, so I was.
Yes, as you can hear, I'm not at full volume.
And so I was in this show myself, and so my head was on a swivel. I'm like, all right, I'm trying to film. I'm also trying to look for monster stuff. I'm trying to, make sure that the footage comes out decent, so I wasn't paying attention.
Because normally I'm hanging around and chatting with everybody.
Yeah.
But because I had a bad allergy attack, I lost my voice.
Yeah.
And when you're the talker and you lose your voice, you just wait in the car.
I know. And my prayers were answered, so it was a good weekend.
Yeah, I took a nap. So if you saw somebody napping in the parking lot, that was me.
This stand totally packed out right here. There was tons of stuff in that stand right there.
This stand is always just like incredible.
Well, like, the one before this one.
Oh yeah, the one before this one. It's not the same one anymore. But yeah, that stand is just like, it's a maze. You literally walk in and it's a maze of just, floor to almost ceiling toys.
Here's more of these NECA trick-or-treaters.
They just display great. They do. The little boxes.
By far the best toy line that has come out in years.
Yes.
By far. In my opinion. I think they're unmatched.
As far as
anything.
Manufactured. So there's a lot of really cool custom stuff out there right now. Like Brent Stahls does amazing work. Monolith Toys does amazing stuff. But as far as an actual a mega company putting stuff out, NECA's Ben Cooper costume kids was just the best.
I'm gonna go with across the board for me. No matter.
Well, you're also a costume collector.
That's it.
And you're Andy Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween costume collector. Little trick or treater guys. It doesn't get better than that for me. Those were always great to see. Sega Master System games. That was my favorite system when I was a kid. Sega Master System. And this right here, this Batman escape gun, made by Lincoln.
That's awesome.
That was something I had never seen before. Now, if you're familiar with the Lincoln monsters, that's usually when you hear Lincoln mentioned, you hear about the monsters. And I had never run into a Batman piece from Lincoln before. So that was extra cool to see that. I had never, ever seen that before. those Street Fighter figures, I'm staring at the price. I think they were like $400 a piece.
Wow.
And I can remember buying a case of those from somebody that worked at Hasbro for $1 a piece. And I bought about 24 of those at one time for $1 a piece. And so it was blowing my mind to see them at $400
If only
a piece.
would have saved them for 2024.
Oh, God. Yeah. C-3POs love that.
I never had those.
Yeah, it's before your time.
Yeah. I missed out on a lot of good
Very
cereals, but I did still grow up in an age of decent cereals.
Gorgo comic books. Those are great. Love Gorgo.
Yes. Those are really cute.
I haven't gone down the comic book hole. I don't have very many comic books. I have a couple. Like, I have the Creature one and a couple of, like, early monster ones, but not too many.
Well, that's like
I
a
love them,
whole other, like,
Yeah.
I feel like if you're going to do comics, like, you really got to concentrate on them.
I'm a toy guy anyway. I've always been a toy guy. So.
Like, I would love to jump down the pre-code horror rabbit hole, but I can't deal with the stress. Because condition is, like, it is such a finicky thing with comics, you know?
Yeah, it's the difference between, hundreds and thousands of dollars is literally just a couple of points. And so it is pretty nerve-wracking.
And it's so much to remember, and my head's already filled with monsters.
See, I'm not on the side of grading or, any of that kind of stuff. I do have some graded Famous Monsters issues.
But that's to help preserve them.
And that's more or less so they don't fall apart in your hands like a lot of the early issues do. But I don't know. Like, the grading thing just does nothing for me. I like being able to display stuff and enjoy stuff and get the most out of it.
That's the important thing.
For sure.
Being able to see and enjoy them.
So that's the Maryland Toy Show here in Timonium. Always a cool show. Lots of vendors, lots of stuff. For the first time, though, I walked away with no toys. I got a couple of these green new cards that I picked up the first 18 at Monster Bash, and a cardboard box. This is a 1971 original Count Chocula shipping box with the 46 cents price tag, 8-ounce boxes. That's when it first was released. I don't know. I figured, like, how many of these can still survive in the world, right? I mean, there can't be many. I don't know. And worst case scenario, I can live in it. All right, we'll see you soon here on Dark Horse.